I never thought I'd kill a man with his own hands. My hands, technically, but his fingerprints all over the evidence. The boardroom reeked of bourbon and desperation that Christmas Eve when I signed away my life for a lie that wasn't even mine. And now, staring down at the barrel of his custom Beretta, I realize revenge isn't sweet. It's just the bitter echo of a soul you stole from yourself. It started in the fluorescent hell of Apex Innovation's headquarters in downtown San Francisco, where the fog rolls in like a bad omen every damn winter. I'm Avery Thompson, or at least I was 32, fresh out of Stanford with an MBA that promised the world but delivered a cubicle in the analytics department. Crunching numbers for assholes who flew private while I scraped by on ramen and regret. My boss, Victor Hale, the Silver Fox CEO everyone whispered about like he was half genius, half devil. Charismatic as hell, with that East Coast polish masking a Midwest ruthlessness. He poached me from a rival firm 2 years back, said I had the killer instinct for big data. Flattery got me coffee runs and 80-hour weeks. But I bought it. Hook, line, and goddamn sinker. Victor was the kind of guy who made betrayal feel like a privilege. Late nights in the office, he'd lean back in his leather chair, cufflinks glinting like stars, and spin tales of his rise, bootstraps from a Detroit trailer park to Forbes 30 under 40. Avery, he'd say, clapping my shoulder a little too hard. You're my secret weapon. We're building empires here. I ate it up. Hell, I idolized him. When the SEC audit hit last fall, it was my numbers that flagged the irregularities, offshore accounts siphoning millions from the R&D slush fund. Not my doing, but Victor's pet project, experimental neural tech. Some black-budget AI for enhanced cognition. He called it Project Echo. Whispered it was the future, mind uploading, body swaps for the elite. Sounded like sci-fi bullshit, but the money trail didn't lie. Panic set in during that board meeting. Victor's face went ashen under the projector glow, his usual smirk cracking like cheap porcelain. The board, old money vultures in tailored suits, turned on him like sharks smelling chum. This could sink us, one hissed. A silver-haired widow from Palo Alto who'd inherited her stake from a dot-com ghost. Victor's eyes darted to me, the loyal dog at his feet. Avery, he murmured later, in the executive washroom, splashing water on his face like it could rinse away the guilt. You take the fall. Frame it as your rogue analysis error. I'll bury the real docs. Make it look like a junior fuck-up. My stomach twisted. Victor, that's my career. Prison. Maybe. He gripped my arm, eyes gleaming with that predatory light. And your future if you don't. Think of the family, your sister's med school debt, your mom's mortgage. I'll set you up, new identity, offshore nest egg. Loyalty. Avery. That's how we win. I caved. What choice did I have? 24 hours later, I was confessing to the feds in a sterile conference room, sweat soaking my Brooks Brothers shirt, the one he bought me as a thank you. The charges: fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. Victor testified against me, all regretful shakes of his head. Tragic misstep by a promising young man. The judge, some Reagan-era hard-ass, threw the book, 5 years at San Quentin, eligible for parole in 3 if I kept my nose clean. My world imploded. Mom cried over the phone from her Bakersfield bungalow, Dad's old recliner creaking under her weight. How? Avery? We raised you better. My sister, Lena, dropped out of Johns Hopkins to waitress doubles. Victor? He got a slap on the wrist, internal investigation, restructured his bonuses, and kept his throne. Prison was a gray blur of regret and rage. San Quentin's walls whispered stories of broken men, the clang of gates a metronome to my unraveling. I worked the library detail, burying myself in law books and contraband tech journals smuggled in by a lifer hacker named Rico. That's where Project Echo clawed its way back into my nightmares. Articles trickled in. Apex's stock soared on breakthrough neural interfaces. Whispers from guards about VIP trials, execs swapping perspectives for empathy training. Rico laughed, yellow teeth flashing. Mind swaps. Kid? Hale's playing God with beta waves. Heard he tested it on inmates first volunteers for reduced sentences. My blood ran cold. Was that why Victor pushed me under the bus? To clear the decks for his pet project? Parole came after 30 months. A hollow victory. I emerged into a Bay Area that had moved on without me. Self-driving Ubers zipping past tent cities. Tech bros in Patagonia vests preaching mindfulness apps while the unhoused shivered in the shadows. Mom picked me up in her rattling Corolla. Her face lined deeper than I remembered. Victor's still king, she said bitterly over diner coffee. Saw him on CNBC last week. All smiles. I nodded, the parole officer's anklet chafing like a promise of chains. But inside, something feral stirred. Revenge wasn't a word, it was a pulse. I vanished into the underbelly, crash pads in Oakland, odd jobs washing dishes in Ticarius. Rico hooked me up with dark web contacts, ghosts of Silicon Valley's underclass. That's how I found Dr. Elena Vasquez, ex-Apex neuroscientist, blacklisted after blowing the whistle on Echo's side effects, psychosis, identity bleed, souls fracturing like glass. She met me in a fog-shrouded motel off 880, her hands trembling over lukewarm tea. It's not fiction. Avery. The device, a helmet synced to quantum entanglement, swaps synaptic maps. Temporary, they claimed. But Victor pushed permanence for control. He swapped with a rival once. Stole trade secrets mid-negotiation. Her eyes hardened. You were collateral. He needed a fall guy to divert from the human trials. The pieces clicked. My error buried the trial logs. The inmate deaths listed as suicides. Victor hadn't just betrayed me. He'd sacrificed lives for his god complex. Elena had a prototype, stolen. Glitchy. But viable. One shot, she warned. Find a way in. Sync to his neural signature. But the risks. You might not come back as you. I didn't hesitate. Teach me. Infiltrating Apex was child's play for a ghost. I posed as a janitor. Night shift. Badge swiped from a burnout who'd OD'd in the parking garage. The labs hummed with sterile menace, white coats bustling past cryopods labeled Echo candidates. Victor's penthouse office overlooked the bay. A glass airy where he brokered deals with Saudi princes and Pentagon spooks. I waited until the holiday gala. That bloated ritual of champagne flutes and backroom bribes. December 23rd. The city glittering like fool's gold under storm clouds. He was there. Tuxedo sharp. Arm around a blonde half his age. Model or mark. Who knew? I slipped the helmet from my duffel. Concealed in the HVAC closet. Heart hammering. I synced the cords Elena provided. Victor's private scan from last week's wellness check. The device word to life. A crown of thorns buzzing against my skull. Pain lanced through, memories flashing like strobe lights, his childhood beatings. Boardroom conquests. The night he pushed his wife down the stairs and called it an accident. Then, snap.
Darkness.
I woke gasping in silk sheets, the bay view mocking me from floor-to-ceiling windows. My hands, his hands, long-fingered, monogrammed cuffs. A mirror confirmed it. Victor Hales stared back. Salt and pepper hair. Jaw like carved granite. Avery was gone. Or buried deep. The swap held. Elena's voice crackled over a burner. 24 hours max. Use it. I dressed in his Brioni suit. The fabric alien against skin that wasn't mine. Power thrummed in my veins, his veins, like electricity unbound. First move. The will. Christmas Eve board meeting. A farce of eggnog and equity shares. Victor's lawyers had drafted it months back. Post-scandal. Cutting out disloyal elements, me chief among them. Mom called that morning. Voice cracking. Avery. Honey, it's bad. The estate planning firm leaked it. You're erased. Ironic. Now that I was him. In the oak-paneled room, Victor leaned forward. Voice of velvet blade. Gentlemen. Ladies. A toast to fresh starts. Eyes on the widow from Palo Alto. Evelyn Grant, who'd always suspected the rot. Evelyn. Your concerns about Echo. Valid. I've decided to divest. Gasps rippled. Victor's inner circle, sycophants in Hermes ties, shifted uneasily. I dropped the bomb. Leaked trial docs. Projected on the smart wall. Inmate autopsies glowing like accusations. This ends now. Full disclosure to the SEC by dawn. Chaos erupted. Phones buzzing. Threats veiled as questions. Evelyn's lips curled in grim satisfaction. About time? Victor. But it was me. Avery's ghost. Twisting the knife. By midnight, feds swarmed the lobby. Badges flashing under lobby chandeliers. Victor's, my phone lit up with panicked texts from Dubai investors. I ignored them, slipping into the sublevel garage where his Bentley purred. Trunk stocked with the Beretta, a relic from his hunting trips to Montana. Destination, the cabin in Tahoe. His retreat, where deals died and bodies vanished. But first, a detour. Lena's apartment in the Mission. Fairy lights twinkling mockingly in the window. She opened the door in scrubs. Exhaustion etched deep. Mr. Hale? What the? I stepped inside, the door clicking shut like fate. Lena. It's me. Avery. Her laugh was brittle, then shattered into sobs as I recited details only we knew. The treehouse pact. Dad's last joke. The swap's proof. How? She whispered, collapsing onto the couch. I explained in rushed breaths. The clock ticking. Victor's done. But I need you safe.
Take Mom.
Go to Aunt Clara's in Reno.
Now.
She nodded, terror yielding to resolve. As she packed, I rifled Victor's wallet, codes to his vaults. The reel were hidden in a Cayman trust. I shredded it, faxing a new one from his secure line, everything to Mom and Lena, anonymized through shells. Merry fucking Christmas, I muttered, the machine whirring like vindication. Dawn broke bloody over the Sierras as the Bentley chewed asphalt. Tahoe's pines loomed like sentinels, the cabin a log-hewn fortress buried in drifts. Victor had built it as a panic room, vault doors, satellite scramblers, a stocked bar for drowning sins. I arrived to silence, the swap's timer a phantom itch in my skull.
Inside.
Fire crackling in the hearth. I poured his Macallan neat. Memories bled through, his first kill. A whistleblower hiking accident in these woods. Fitting. The twist came via Elena's encrypted drop. Ping to my phone. Abort. Scans show anomaly. You're not swapped. You're overwritten. My gut plummeted.
What?
The mirror lied. Avery's face flickered beneath. But the synapses fired Victor's patterns. Elena's follow-up. Hale's device doesn't swap, it imprints. You volunteered in prison. Remember? Reduced sentence for therapy trial. He chose you as the donor. Your mind's the echo. His the host.
Lies.
Or was it? Flashes. Consent forms I'd signed half asleep. Chalked up to detox. Victor hadn't betrayed me. I'd been his blank slate from the start. Groomed for this erasure. Rage boiled. But the door burst open, feds. Tipped by my own leaks. Evelyn's doing. Or Victor's failsafe. Mister.
Hale.
You're under arrest for echo violations. I raised the Beretta. Not at them. But to my temple. Avery's temple. Victor's gun. Tell them. I growled to the lead agent. A stone-faced Latina with FBI steel. The fall guy was me. Always was. The shot echoed. But I pulled wide, grazing the shoulder.
A flesh wound to buy time. No.
Not suicide. Controversy's currency. They tackled me. Cuffs biting deep. In the chopper to Frisco. Sirens wailing below. I laughed, mad. Hollow. The will stood. Mom's call came through holding. Avery? The lawyers say. It's all ours. Victor's empire crumbled in headlines. CEO confesses in Tahoe standoff. But the truth? Reversed. I wasn't the victim. I was the vessel. Complicit in my own undoing. Parole for what? Ghosting a life. They locked me in solitary. Psych eval pending. Lena visits Sundays. Her eyes searching mine for the brother lost. Was it worth it? She asks. I shrug. Victor's smirk playing traitor. Worth the debate. The ink spilled in op-eds. Vigilante justice or corporate Frankenstein. A happy ending? Mom's mortgage paid. Lena back in scrubs.
Geek.
I'm him now. Echoes arguing in the dark. Revenge? Just a mirror. Cracked and cursing back. The psych ward at Ballymed smells like bleach and broken promises. A sterile cage where white coats poke at your soul like it's lab rat chow. It's been 3 weeks since Tahoe. And the swap, if that's what it was, fades like a bad acid trip. Victor's memories seeping out in dreams that leave me soaked and screaming. Avery's back. Mostly, my reflection shows the old me. Prison pale with that crooked scar from a yard brawl. But the docs mutter about dissociative fugue, pump me full of Haldol. And grill me on the delusion. Delusion my ass. Elena's ghosted. Burner dead. Lab torched in an accident. Victor's rotting in federal holding downtown. Lawyered up with a dream team that could buy small countries.
He doesn't know I know.
Or that I was him. Briefly. Tasting the rot from the inside. Lena smuggles in contraband. Burner phone. Wrapped in her lunch Tupperware. From Rico, she whispers during vis hours. The glass partition fogging with our breaths. Rico. The lifer who'd paroled out last month on some technicality, probably Hale strings. The phone buzzes once. Chords for a meet in the Tenderloin. That festering heart of the city, where junkies and tech refugees collide. I sign out on a therapeutic furlough. The shrink's too overworked to care. Uber to 6th Street. Hood up against the drizzle. Heart jackhammering like it's trying to escape. Rico waits in a dive called the Black Cat. nursing a PBR under neon that flickers like Morse code for regret. He's bulked up, tattoos creeping from cuffs like kudzu. "Kid," he greets, sliding a stool my way. No hugs, we're both too jagged for that. "Heard you play dress up with the devil." I nod, throat tight. He lays it out. Victor's not just a thief, he's an architect of voids. Project Echo wasn't enhancement, it was erasure. For the elite, swap out the old meat suit for fresh. Imprint the new host with your essence. You weren't random. Avery. Your profile, stable psych evals, no family ties that stick, prime donor stock. He picked you in the audit room. That washroom chat. Coded trigger for consent. My fists clench, knuckles whitening. I took the fall for his fraud. Rico snorts. And the trials. Inmates dosed with prototypes, hallucinations, swaps that left M catatonic. You signed off as analyst, buried the data. His betrayal? Deep as the Mariana. But you were the shovel. The bar spins. Last call echoing hollow. Outside. A homeless vet panhandles to self-driving taxis. The American dream's undercarriage exposed. I bolt, puking in an alley, while tasting like bourbon, Victor's ghost. Back in the ward. I plot. Revenge isn't a bullet, it's a scalpel. Carving slow. Controversial calls first. Leak the donor list. Rico's got it. Names of the vanished. Migrant coders. Foster kids funneled through Apex scholarships. I upload from the hospital Wi-Fi. VPN masked as a nurse's TikTok binge. By morning, it's viral. Echo ghosts trending on X. Protesters chaining themselves to Apex's revolving doors. Victor's face plasters CNN. That smug mug twisted in mugshots. Mom calls. Voice a mix of pride and terror. Avery. They're calling you a hero. Or a terrorist.
Hero? Try haunted.
But power's a drug. And Victor's veins still pump it. His lawyers move for dismissal. Coerced confession, they claim. Painting me as the unstable ex-con with a grudge. The press eats it. Op-eds debating tech titans tragedy. Evelyn Grant reaches out via back channels. Her widow's intuition sharp. Lunch at her Pacific Heights manse. Ocean view mocking the storm clouds rolling in. She's steel and Chanel. Pearls like armor. I knew about Echo, she confesses over heirloom tomato salad. Lost my husband to it. Accident in a trial. Victor promised shares for silence. Her eyes bore in. Your leaks. They're fracturing the board. But finish it. For all of us. Her gift. Access codes to Victor's Singularity Vault. A digital crypt in Iceland holding the master imprints. Souls digitized. Swaps reversible if you dare the code. Controversial? Hell yes. Reversing means risking my own erasure. Overriding Avery to trap him forever. I fly coach to Reykjavik. Parole be damned. Fake passport courtesy of Rico's web. The data center's a bunker in volcanic rock. Guards nodding at Evelyn's forged clearance.
Inside.
Servers hum like a choir of damned souls. Air chilled to preserve the ghosts. I jack in. Neural lace from Elena's stash interfacing crude but clean. Victor's file blooms. My face. Scanned pre-prison. Labeled template alpha. His notes. Thompson exhibits pliability. Ideal for permanent transfer post-incarceration. Betrayal's knife twists deeper. He'd planned the swap from the start. My loyalty just bait. I initiate the reverse. Flood his holding cell monitors with the truth. Looped footage of his memories. The wife's fall. Inmate screams digitized into white noise. Guards find him catatonic, babbling my name. Avery. Echo. Mine. Back stateside. The climax builds like a bay fog bank. Trial date looms. Victor's, not mine. I'm subpoenaed as witness. The fall guy turned specter. Courtroom in the federal courthouse. That marble mausoleum on Golden Gate buzzes with media vultures. I take the stand in a thrift store suit. Lena in the gallery clutching Mom's hand. Victor glares from the dock, eyes hollowed by the imprint bleed. Mr. Thompson, the prosecutor drawls, southern drawl cutting clean. Did the defendant coerce your confession? I lean into the mic, voice steady as quake fault. Coerce?
No.
He architected it. I was his echo from the jump. Gasps ripple, judge bangs gavel like thunder. Victor lunges, chains rattling, lies. He's the fraud, but bailiffs swarm. My testimony unravels him. Docs. Recordings. The vault breach traced to unknown. Controversial pivot. I out Evelyn's complicity, not to burn her, but to force reform. Apex isn't one man, I say. Eyes on the jury, blue-collar mix. Faces etched with layoff scars. It's a machine. Shut it down, or it eats us all. The foreman, a ex-Intel machinist, nods subtle. Verdict, guilty on all counts: fraud, manslaughter, conspiracy. Victor's sentence, life. No parole. The courtroom erupts, flashbulbs popping like gunfire. Outside, protesters chant my name, signs waving. Echo no more, but victory's ash. Lena hugs me fierce. Mom's tears salt on my cheek. You did it, son.
Did I?
Nights now. Victor's echoes whisper. Boardroom conquests. The thrill of godhood. Was I ever just Avery? Or always his shadow? The gavel's echo fades, but the fracture lines spiderweb deeper, cracking the facade of justice in this town where money buys mercy and truth's just another algorithm. Victor's in Supermax now, ADX Florence, that concrete tomb in the Rockies where terrorists and tycoons rot side by side. No visitors, no swaps to spring him. His empire? Dismantled by Evelyn's proxy war. Assets liquidated to victim funds. Mom's bungalows paid off. Lena's tuition retroactive, scholarship named for Dad. Irony's bow. But me? I'm adrift in witness protection's limbo. A safe house in Eugene, Oregon, where rain drums eternal on the roof like accusatory fingers. Avery Thompson. Ghost in the machine, wondering if revenge rebuilt or just rearranged the ruins. It starts small, nightmares morphing to visions. Victor's wife, Clara, not my aunt, appears in fever dreams. Bruises blooming on porcelain skin. You saw, she hisses, tumbling down stairs that aren't there. I bolt awake. Sheets twisted. Checking mirrors for his eyes and mine. Elena resurfaces via postcard. Imprint lingers. Purge or perish. Purge how? The prototype slag. Melted in my haste post-vault. Rico calls from a burner. Fed sniffing. Your leaks? Traced to hospital IP. They're calling it domestic terror. Terror? I saved lives. Exposed the void. But in America's ledger, whistleblowers and avengers blur lines. Controversial crossroads. Testify for the class action suit. Or vanish. The lawyers, ACLU sharks in sensible suits, press in a rainy Seattle Starbucks. Foam art wilting on lattes. Your story's the linchpin. Avery. Donors' families need closure. Closure's a luxury. I see the inmates' faces in every reflection. Swapped shells. Mine's marooned. I agree. Flying back under alias. Gut churning. The hearings in a community center turn courtroom. Fluorescent buzz over folding chairs packed with the bereaved. Latina moms clutching photos. Black fathers in faded tees. All eyes on the Apex logo projected like a scarlet A.
I take the mic.
Voice raw. Project Echo was in progress. It was predation. Victor Hale didn't just steal money, he stole selves. Murmurs swell. A woman sobs. Her son's mugshot on her lapel. Then the bomb, my swap confession. I lived in his skin. Felt his sins. The betrayal? Mutual. I signed the forms. Buried the data. Thinking it loyalty. Gasps. Then fury, traitor, from the back. The judge. A no-nonsense black woman from Oakland. Silences it. Context. Mr. Thompson. I spill. The grooming. The audit trap. The prison therapy that wasn't. Revenge made me him. But it broke the cycle. Verdict? Settlement billions. Apex restructured under oversight. Hero again? Or Judas? Evelyn corners me post-hearing in the parking lot. Her Bentley idling like a predator. You outed me, she says. No venom, just weariness.
Had to.
For the board to burn clean. She nods. Handing an envelope, check for 7 figures. Discretion bonus. Victor's rotting. But echoes linger. Watch your back. Drive away. I feel it. The pull. His patterns firing rogue. Decisions darken. Anonymous tips to feds on holdouts. Execs who'd swapped with staff for team building, leaving husks in psych wards. I dox them via dark pools. Careers imploding in tweet storms. Controversial? Vigilantism's the new American pastime. Debates raging on podcasts. Avery's justice. Catharsis or chaos? Climax crashes in Reno. Aunt Clara's spread. Sagebrush and slot machines. Mom's new haven.
Christmas again.
A year from the swap. Trees strung with lights that mock the season's cheer. Lena's home from rotations. Belly swelling with her first. Life asserting over loss. Dinner's pot roast and Pinot. Laughter tentative. Then the knock. Feds. Badges gleaming under porch light. Avery Thompson, you're under arrest for unauthorized data access. Conspiracy to defraud. My fork clatters. Rico's trace caught up. Or Evelyn's nudge. Mom gasps. Lena shields her eyes. Interrogation room in Sparks PD. Coffee like motor oil. The agent, same Latina from Tahoe, leans in. You didn't just leak. Avery. You overwrote Hale's systems. Trapped his digital ghost in a loop, endless confession. I blink. The vault purge? I'd coded a virus. Victor's voice droning his crimes eternally. Poetic, she says, almost admiring. But illegal. Extradition to federal. Twist hits like vertigo. Victor's lawyer filed countersuit. Claiming I was the mastermind, framed him using insider access from the therapy. Evidence? Forged logs. My prison scans manipulated. Truth reversed again. Was I puppet or puppeteer? The forms I signed, did they authorize more than I knew? Bail hearings a circus. Media swarming the courthouse steps. Lena testifies. Voice steel. He's my brother. Broken by the system. Not breaking it. Mom weeps. The check from Evelyn burning in my pocket. Blood money now. Judge grants, or... But the specter looms. Trial of the century. Avery versus. The machine. Nights in the safe house. I confront the echo. Hack my own neural scan. Elena's protocol reverse-engineered. The purge burns. Victor's whispers silenced in a migraine blaze. Avery emerges. Singular.
Scarred. Ending?
Debatable as dawn. Acquittal comes after months. Jury deadlocked, then swayed by a holdout mom from the suits. He freed my boy's soul. Victor dies in custody. Hard event, but whispers say suicide. His loop too loud. I fade to Eugene for Real. Writing this under pen name. Royalties funding donor scholarships. Happy? Mom gardens. Lena's boy, named Elias. After dad, gurgles at my knee. Tragic? The mirror still lies sometimes. His smirk in my smile. Revenge's legacy. A nation argues. Justice or just another swap? I pour Macallan neat. Toast the fog. Echoes quiet. But the debate roars on. Who's the ghost now?